A regular contributor each week is Greg Quinn, a naturalist and farmer who brought black currants back to the U.S. market and, in fact, grows the black currants on his farm in the Hudson Valley, New York. And he's here with his weekly Notes from the Currant Farm.
Hi, I'm Greg Quinn with this week's Notes from the Currant Farm. After a very dry start to the spring, the rains have since been regular and plentiful here on the Currant Farm. The woods and fields are particularly lush and green this year. The bulls are fat and happy, having an abundance of green grass at a time when the pasture is normally starting to turn brown with the heat. And every tree, shrub, and vine in the woods is having a banner growing year, including the poison ivy. Poison ivy is the omnipresent scourge of nature for humans. Most people have suffered the consequences of an encounter with this menace, and some experience a rash for 5 days or so, and some of you have suffered for up to a month with an unrelenting itch that demands scratching, which, of course, is the one thing you shouldn't do. A very lucky 15% of people are actually immune to the toxic effects of this poison plant. Poison ivy, poison oak, and poison sumac are all different plants, but they all contain an irritating, oily sap called urushiol. Urushiol triggers an allergic reaction resulting in an itchy rash which can appear within hours or up to several days later. Exposure to urushiol can be from direct contact, activities such as weed whacking in shorts, or by handling gardening tools and camping equipment, and even a pet's fur. It's long been believed that dogs aren't affected by poison ivy, but the oil can persist on their fur, and veterinarians have reported allergic reaction in some breeds. The oil is found in all parts of the plants, including leaves, stems, and roots, and remains active long after the plant has died. Specimens of poison ivy leaves stored in a drawer in the herbarium of the New York Botanical Garden since 1906 were tested a while ago and found to still contain a potent dose of urushiol 100 years after the leaves died. Poison ivy can sometimes be difficult to identify. The leaves can be very large or very small, red or green, round and fat, or narrower and pointed. They can have smooth edges or notched lobes. The constant is that it always grows with groups of 3 leaves called leaflets, and the hairs on the vines are almost always red. The old warning is, leaves of 3, let it be. The leaves and stems of jewelweed, when crushed and rubbed on the affected skin soon after exposure, is a natural treatment for poison ivy. It's often said that jewelweed will grow wherever poison ivy grows, but this is true only sometimes. Jewelweed needs a moist, shady environment, whereas poison ivy can grow in full sun, full shade, damp conditions, or dry areas. But poison ivy is not all bad. Deer, muskrats, and rabbits eat the leaves, and the large clusters of white berries in the fall provide an important source of food for bluebirds, chickadees, and other birds. And then they spread the well-fertilized seeds everywhere they fly. For a podcast of this and previous notes from the Currant Farm, and to see pictures of the just completed currant harvest, go to Currants.com. That's Currants with an A.
And with farmer and naturalist Greg Quinn, I'm Mike Bennett, and you're listening to America Weekend.